Hello, this is Alyssa Jones with Bista Solutions, and today we're going to go through an introduction to Odoo purchasing. During this video, we'll go through some questions and answers that managers usually ask. We will then go through a workflow diagram of Odoo purchasing, and lastly we'll walk through an example, including a little bit of analysis based on the questions we've asked. Often when people look at the purchasing functionality of Odoo, they're really trying to answer some key questions that are going to help improve their business. Some of the questions that a manager might need to answer using the workflows in Odoo are: how do I create a standard PO? What is the difference between an RFQ and a PO in Odoo? Does Odoo allow me to have a manager approve my order? Can I create blanket orders? Can I have purchase orders created when I'm low in stock in a product? Can I set up a price list for a particular vendor or product? And what reporting does the Odoo purchasing module include? Odoo provides you with the tools to be able to answer these questions and to better manage the purchases if you understand how to set up Odoo in the right way and analyze the results correctly. Before I show you the system, I'd like to take you through the workflow of Odoo. This will give you a good understanding of how one object in Odoo flows to the next. This is a simple workflow diagram for a manufacturing company that produces barbecue smokers. The portion we'll be concentrating on is the third swim lane. Purchasing can be initiated from multiple applications. A purchase order can be triggered manually. It could come from a sales order, manufacturing order, or reordering rules from the product. Once the replenishment strategy is established, a request for quotation is created. This can then be emailed to the vendor, or it can be turned directly into a purchase order. Once the purchasing process is completed, the business can continue on with any outstanding manufacturing, inventory, sales, and account processes. Please review our other videos to go into further detail of these applications. Now let's look at our Odoo database. This is my homepage with all my applications. We're going to concentrate on the purchasing application you can see here. Once I click into the application, it will default to a list of all of my open purchasing items, both purchase orders and requests for quotations. This screen can also tell me the status of my order and the associated vendor bill status. Across the top of my purchasing homepage is an overview of some of the high-level statistics. For example, what open items need to be addressed and the values of the RFQs sent. If you want to see just your items, you can click under the filters and select My Purchases. If I select the Orders menu and then Purchase Orders, you can also see the receipt status of your goods. To create a new RFQ or purchase order, you select the Create button. Best Smokers Inc. requires some more offset box 50 gallons as we are out of stock. I can get these from a company called Smoky Smokes. And they have provided me with a sales order number. My currency is in USD. The order deadline is when you want the vendor to reply to the quote by. And the expected arrival is when you expect to receive the goods. So I expect to receive them by Friday. This can be adjusted on both this form and on the receipt at any point in time after the confirmation of the order. The Ask Confirmation tick box sends a reminder to the vendor to get an update on the delivery date if you would like to follow this through. I'm not going to apply this. Under the product section, then enter the products we require. So I'm going to add a product and I want my offset box, my 50 gallon. If I need to add additional information to the product, I can. I want to order 5 of these, quantity of 5. And my unit price is going to be $200. If I require to add sections or headers to my line items, I can. And I can also add notes for that item. Once I'm happy with a quote, I can send it to my customer by selecting Send by Email. Okay, they don't have an email address, so I will need to put that in. Okay, that will add to the record, and you will see my template here with the attached PDF, and I can send that. This will change the status of my RFQ to RFQ sent. Alternatively, I can also print the RFQ to PDF. Once I'm happy with a quote, I can transfer it to a purchase order by confirming the order. Technically, an RFQ and a purchase order are the same document in Odoo. It just depends on the process you go through. You do not have to send out the RFQ if you do not need to. You can confirm the RFQ straight away, which will turn it into a PO. If you do require a step of approval before confirming the purchase order, Odoo allows this. Under the settings, I have set a limit that anything over $5,000 needs to be approved by my manager, and they will require to have administrator access for purchasing. And then this will add an extra step. So if I create a brand new purchase order, let's add in the same offset box. Okay, at $200, and let's add 1,000 of them. Okay, that will get me to 230. Once I confirm the order, you will now see that it's under to approve. Under this other screen, I am logged in as a manager. If I refresh it, you'll see that this RFQ is under to approve. And as I have manager access, I can approve that order and it will be completed. Businesses will sometimes require blanket orders as you can buy more at a lower price. You can do this by turning on the setting for purchase agreements. To create a blanket order under the purchasing application, you click on the order menu item and then blanket orders. We select new and enter the details required. So my vendor, my first one I'm going to look at will be Smoky Smokes. Okay. I want it in USD. The agreement deadline, I want responses by Friday. Okay. Everything else can be left blank if you don't know the information yet, and I can add in my product. So I want my offset box. Okay, and this time we only want 5 of them. If you have the unit price from them already, then you can put in the unit price. So let's say I'm going to get 5 of them. Because this is a blanket agreement, I'm going to get them at a cheaper price, so $150. Okay. So the ordering date and the delivery date. If you want these fields to default into the RFQ, you can then do that and it will default it into the order deadline and the expected arrival. Lastly, if there is already an open PO that you want to link into this source document, then you can put that into the field. We've entered our product and our price and the ordered quantity. There are also some extra settings under the agreement type that you can set. If you have administrator access, for example, whether you want the lines to come across in the agreement or create them manually, but these are for more complicated orders if you want to get into that. Okay, so I'm going to confirm this blanket order. To create a purchase order, there's a link to the blanket agreement. You can either select new quotation from here, or you can select new quotation from from your RFQ screen. So I'm going to select a new quotation. Okay, you'll see it's brought across all of my details from my purchase agreement. And you can adjust as necessary. So maybe under this one, I only want to order 2. Okay, and we're going to confirm that. Okay. Businesses sometimes require blanket orders as you can buy more at a lower price. You can do this by turning on the setting for purchase agreements. To create a blanket order under the purchase application, you click on the orders menu item and then blanket orders. We're then going to create a brand new one. We'll go through, we'll enter our vendor, so Smoky Smokes. If you want the currency as USD, you can leave it or you can change it, and then we've got the agreement deadline. This is going to be the expiration date of the blanket agreement. If there's no expiration date, then you can leave this as blank. You then have the ordering date and the delivery date. They're only required if you want these fields to default into the RFQ, so their related fields are the order, deadline, and the expected arrival. Lastly, if there's an existing PO you want to tie into this blanket order, you can use under source document to enter that detail. We're then going to enter our product, so my offset box, 50 gallon, and they've agreed that if I order 100 of them, they will give them to me at a price of $120. And I will confirm that. There are some extra settings for agreement type that you can set if you have administrator access. For example, whether you want the lines to come across from the agreement or whether you want to create them manually, but these could all be set up separately. I'm then going to go and create a purchase order that is linked to this blanket order. I can do so by clicking new quotation under my blanket order, or I can create a brand new RFQ. And when I enter my Smoky Smokes vendor, you'll see that my purchase agreement will appear. This is going to automatically bring across the line items, and then I can decide on how many I'm going to order. So let's say 10. Okay. Now, if I go back to my blanket order, you'll see against that there is the one RFQ and that I've ordered a quantity of 10 out of that 100 already. So it keeps track of that. Sometimes you'll also want to do a call to tender. So if I have a look at one of my RFQs, so let's look at this PO26 that we ordered earlier. You'll see that there's an alternatives tab. Okay. On this alternatives tab, you can see the other vendors and the other purchase orders that I've raised. It'll add it into this table so I can analyze it. And you can go through and analyze the on-time delivery. You can analyze the expected arrival. You could also analyze the status of the order. Okay, we're now going to go look at our products. So sometimes on our products, let's look at my trailer wheels. You potentially have a product that you want it to be sold but not purchased, or purchased but not sold, and these are defaulted under these tick boxes. If the can be purchased is ticked, then under my product you'll see my purchase tab appear. Under here I can set a vendor price list. I can have as many as I want. You'll see under here that if I order from Wheelie Wheels, my price is going to be $70. I can add in another one that, let's say that if I order this from Barbecue Galore, they are going to charge me $75, but there may be an extra lead time of 2 days. So I can go through it and I can add through all of these products. When I create my RFQ, once I enter the vendor, it will then take the price from that vendor. Another very handy feature of Odoo is the reordering rules. When I'm in the product, I can select on the reordering rules. You'll see that I currently have one set up here. So when it hits a minimum quantity of 5, I can order up to the maximum of 10. If I select new and I want to select up a new rule, you can decide on what route you want. So whether you want it to be by manufacturer or if you have the MTO route selected. And then you could also choose which vendor according to your vendor price list that you want it to use. Okay, we're going to discard that. This trigger field here decides whether it should be automatically create an RFQ or whether it should be put into the replenishment report to order. If the trigger is automatic, then it's going to run a scheduler overnight and gather all the products per vendor and create the draft RFQ for the purchasing representative to then go in and confirm it the next day. Okay. If I look at my purchase, I can see that last night one ran, and I know that by the OP at the beginning of the source document that it ran overnight. And for my trailer wheels, it now wants me to order a quantity of 10 at 70. I can then go through and I can add additional products, I can add additional quantity and go through the full purchasing process. If you don't have reordering rules, or you have a manual reordering rule set, then it will sit in the replenishment report. This can be found under the inventory application, under operations and replenishment. From here, you can select the items, choose the route, and also choose a vendor if there are price lists available. You can also re-automate the ordering rules, or you can choose to snooze it and make it disappear from the list for a period of time. Odoo does have a lot of reporting, but the main reporting for purchasing is my purchase analysis. Okay. Something that a lot of managers request for the product is what I ordered, okay, what my quantity billed was, and what my quantity received was. So I can then put this into a pivot view, and you'll see it's according to products, but I can add in my products and you can see how much I've ordered and how much I have billed and how much I've received. And I can do that analysis. This is just a quick introduction on how to use Odoo Purchasing. And as you can see, you can easily organize all of your purchasing information, allowing you to report out and find key information. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out to the sales team at Bista, as we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.